Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to 2600 Seconds to Industry Leaders. Today we'll be discussing a crucial topic, transforming Africa's workforce towards sustainable growth. Indeed, we know very well that this continent is very rich and it has a lot of resources, both tapped and untapped. The chief amongst them all are the human capital, or should we say the human resources. Without humans, certain operations cannot really be properly driven. That we know of. But it's one thing to have people working around you or creating businesses, and yet another for you to have them properly managed, as well as keeping your workplaces in the right positions so that it will not be toxic to people and it can also help in transforming what workplaces ought to be like across Africa. This is a challenge that we've been battling with for ages, and definitely we can grow. So far as we know what and what to do to sustain or drive sustainable growth. Well, as we explore this theme, we are going to delve into the opportunities and challenges that face our continent's workforce, and we are going to discuss potential solutions for sustainable growth. From education and skills training to technology and innovation, entrepreneurship, diversity and inclusion, we will examine the key drivers of growth and development in Africa as promised already while this very event has been long advertised. So let's go in, explore stories, examples, insights. We just name them that are meant to inspire you. Okay, it's meant to inspire you whether as an individual entrepreneur or already a structured organization so that together we can build a brighter future for Africa's workforce. However, let's take note of something very important here, and that has to do with the role of education and skills training when it comes to developing workforce. Not just in Africa, wherever you go in the world, education and skill training are necessary. This is because education is the backbone of any workforce, and Africa is no exception. Our education systems need to adapt to the changing job market demands. In fact, it is sad to say that for some of us who may be through with higher education or any other formal education or system of education that we've passed through after being through with our regular high school education, do not be surprised that if you go back to your alma mater, what you were taught is exactly what your lecturers or whoever is there might still be teaching. Some schools do not bother to change that curriculum, thereby graduating a lot of people, a lot of persons every year to face a world that has gone way ahead of them. Hence, we keep getting issues that borders around skill gaps. These gaps can be closed. So when it comes to education as part of developing our workforce and making sure that they are sustainable enough, we require more emphasis on STEM education, vocational training, and apprenticeships. For instance, countries like South Africa and Kenya have implemented coding and robotics. Yeah, programs like that on coding and robotics in schools, which is a step in the right direction. So, how is your own country faring, dear Africa? Wherever we find ourselves, how are we faring in this regard? Then we also have the African Leadership Academy in South Africa still, which is another great example of an institution that provides young leaders with skills and mentorship to drive positive change in their communities. We also need to promote lifelong learning because if you know me very well, you know that I don't joke with that. Lifelong learning, being a proud lifelong learner myself, so I always ensure I sing it. People should always learn. Life will keep teaching, so please keep learning. These are meant to enable workers to upskill and reskill throughout their careers. Things are changing, so you don't have to be left behind. Okay, online platforms like Coursera, Udemy, edX, you know them, right? There's also Alison and a whole lot of others that you will be thinking about right now. They offer a wide range of courses and certifications that can help workers stay relevant. By investing in education and skills training, we can equip our workforce with the tools they need to succeed in an ever evolving job market. There is a story we want to take, a very brief story of a lady, a super lady. Her name is Njoki Ndogo. Apologies, Njoki, if I did not pronounce the surname properly, please. She's from Kenya. Njoki Ndogo is a Kenyan robotics engineer who developed a low-cost prosthetic limb for amputees. Her innovative solution has been recognized globally as we speak right now. And she's already working with organizations to scale up production and make it accessible to those in need. So you see why we should take education seriously in Africa if we must transform our workforce. Okay, how about technology and innovation? They can also drive sustainable growth. Technology has the potential to revolutionize our workforce right here. Emerging technologies like artificial intelligence teaming companies. We have examples like companies, African companies like M-Pesa in Kenya and Flutterwave in Nigeria. These companies have leveraged mobile technology to provide financial services to millions. The M-Pesa platform in particular has enabled over 40 million users to access financial services. And it's a great example of how technology can drive financial inclusion in Africa. We also see innovation hubs and tech parks sprouting up across the African continent, which in turn has been enabling entrepreneurship and innovation. The iHub in Nairobi, Kenya is an example of these tech parks that's where we are just talking about innovation hubs. iHub actually has been providing a platform for tech entrepreneurs to collaborate, innovate, and grow. Way back, I remember there is this innovation hub in River State of Nigeria. That was where I got my first real taste, deep taste of tech. Yeah, my first taste in technology was web design or web development, sorry. And of course, they're different. They're different. Yeah, they are. So it's the Ken Sarubiwa Innovation Hub. That hub actually grown so many giants in the field of technology, not just in the states, that is River State and the capital city of Port Harcourt, but it has really created a lot of techies who have spread their tech all around Nigeria, and some have even gone outside the country and they are creating serious value wherever they are today. These are what we're talking about. We need more of these innovation hubs around Africa. So, by embracing technology and innovation, we can unlock new avenues for growth and development. Okay, let's see the case of William Kamkwamba from Malawi. This Malawian inventor who built a windmill to power his family's farm using scrap materials have really been a source of inspiration to many young Africans for them to go out there and innovate, for them to also explore science and technology. Yes, William has this innovative spirit and determination. That is why his story is being told and people are celebrating as well as acknowledging him the world over. And that is why I also got to know about him. And I'm also telling you about him as well. Innovation really can drive your dreams, can take you where you never ever thought you would be at any given point in time. So please, let's always give innovation a chance. Well, as we keep innovating and keep transforming our Africa's workforce in terms of upholding education and technology, we should also understand that entrepreneurship and job creation ought to be promoted. Okay, and as much strategies as possible that we can lay our hands on, let's please implement this for us to promote entrepreneurship and job creation in Africa. This is because it is the key to driving economic growth, entrepreneurship, indeed. Without it, there will be fewer job creation across the continent. The government all over can play a crucial role by implementing policies that support startups and small businesses instead of implementing policies that will frustrate the startup owners or small business owners. This includes access to funding, tax incentives, and streamlined regulatory processes. The governments all over the African continent, they do well to emulate the good examples of organizations like the Tony Elumelu Foundation's entrepreneurship program, which is a great example when it comes to providing funding and mentorship to African startups. We also have organizations like Google's Launchpad Accelerator Africa and the African Business Angels Network, ABAN. Yeah, African Business Angels Network. In case you've not heard about them, please fact check them. Find out about them and see what you can do or what your business can also derive from them. These organizations are supporting entrepreneurship and innovation in Africa. So when we promote entrepreneurship, we can create new job opportunities and drive innovation. Because truth be told, scarcity of jobs is not necessarily because of lack of opportunities, job opportunities, not necessarily that, but because there is a lack of entrepreneurship, sustainable entrepreneurship all around our different countries. So we should give this a thought. There is a very telling example from Ethiopia. We know that in Africa, the second largest population in Africa right now is Ethiopia. I hope we are aware or we still remember. So, from this wonderful country, we have the story of Bethlehem. Yes, this is another young lady, an excellent young lady. Her name is Bethlehem Alemo. Yeah, Tilahon Alemo. She's an Ethiopian entrepreneur who founded Soul Robots. Soul, just like the soul of the shoes, okay? Soul Robots. It is a footwear company that creates jobs and promotes sustainable practices. Her company has become a global brand already, and she's an inspiration to other young entrepreneurs across Africa. So, in case you've not heard about Bethlehem and Lemo before, please you can Google about her, read more about her, maybe find her on LinkedIn. You can search for her here on LinkedIn. Read, follow activities, and get yourself inspired. While we promote entrepreneurship, we should never forget the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workforce. This is because they are very essential if any workforce must thrive anywhere in the world, not just in Africa. A diverse workforce brings different perspectives, ideas, and innovation. Like we know, it takes many trees to make a forest. It also takes different species of flowers to get yourself a beautiful bouquet. So, companies that prioritize diversity, equity, and inclusion, otherwise known as DEI, tend to perform better and attract top talent. The ABSA Group, which is one of the Pan-African financial services company, has implemented various initiatives to promote diversity and inclusion, which includes training programs and mentorship schemes. So by creating a more inclusive workforce, we can unlock the potential of all individuals and drive growth further. How about we look into what Louisa Maria Lobo has been doing? Louisa Maria Lobo is another young lady. Pardon me, young men. Uh, it's like most of the examples I'm giving are coming from young ladies, girls, but we have to encourage ladies to do them. So there we go. At least we are having good reports. So others can follow suit. So, as I was saying, Luisa Maria Lobo, she is a Brazilian Angolan, okay, and an entrepreneur who founded Lead Africa. Lead Africa, as in LIDA. That's an acronym there, Lead Africa. Is an organization that promotes women empowerment and leadership. And thanks to what Louisa has been doing with Lead Africa, she has inspired many women to take up leadership roles and pursue their passions across the continent. This makes us to think. There are many countries that we mentioned. Of course, Africa has 54 countries, and definitely there's no way I can exhaust everything going on in each of these countries across the continent in this life. Okay, because I'm going to spend not more than 3,600 seconds with you. But let's see how well we can travel. Okay, the few countries we can travel right here. I travel to these countries right here and learn lessons from some of them who have been successful. There are also other industries in Africa that have proven successful in their operations and we can learn from them. Some African countries have made significant strides in economic development. Their experiences are worth imitating. Ah, the beautiful Rwanda, for example, has invested heavily in ICT infrastructure and human capital. Right now, it has become an attractive destination for businesses in Africa. You can fact check that too. Ghana has also made progress in diversifying its economy and promoting entrepreneurship. In terms of industries, agriculture, and tourism have potential for growth and population, of course. Yes. So when we're talking about successful industries, we should not neglect agriculture and tourism. In fact, need we be told that tourism remains the world's number one employer? Hmm. Even AI can say that. I'll tell you for free. Okay, so in view of this, the Ethiopian government's investment in the floral industry has created thousands of jobs, leading to increased foreign exchange earnings and economic growth. The industry has also provided, so that floral industry that was created by the Ethiopian government has further provided opportunities for smallholder farmers to participate in the global supply chain, thereby improving their livelihoods and contributing to the country's economic development. Can this be done in other parts of Africa? Is this already happening where you come from? All right, let the experience, let these examples challenge you, especially those who are policymakers, the government, and any other arm of policy making in the various countries of Africa. This is the reason why we cannot ignore the role of leadership and governance when we are really set to transform Africa's workforce. If we are really sure we want to bring about sustainable growth in Africa, in line with the many SDGs that we'll be working towards in various ways, we should never ignore the role of leadership and governance because effective leadership and governance are critical in driving workforce development. Like I said, leaders need to prioritize education. Of course, when we talk about leaders, we're not only talking about political leaders. I hope we know that in your various organizations, there are business leaders, there are corporate leaders. If you own a business, as long as you have, even if it's one or two persons you're managing, you are a business leader there. So, in whichever capacity or whatever capacity you find yourself leading, it is necessary to prioritize education, entrepreneurship, and innovation, as well as create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. How about we take example from the beautiful um, destination Africa, which is Mauritius. That country, in fact, not just Mauritius, countries like Mauritius and Botswana, all those two very beautiful, beautiful, clean African countries, a delight to be. They are not just beautiful, they are not just eye candy to us, they have taken the lead. They have given us good examples for other leaders and arms of government all across the continent to learn from, owing to the fact that these two countries have implemented business friendly policies and they have invested in human capital. This is the reason why they remain one of the best in Africa when it comes to attractive destinations for foreign investments. You see foreigners flocking there. They are pouring into these countries every day. This is not a rocket science. They actually made it happen. They worked it out. So how well, like what I always ask, how well have your own country been faring in this regard? Strong leadership and governance can also promote transparency, accountability, and stability, which are vital for economic growth and development. We are a work in progress. I don't want to uh, maybe let it not be as if I'm talking down on the efforts of any government across Africa. Many are coming up, and by the time everyone comes up with a good plans, maybe who knows? Who knows? We'll have more cases like what is going on in Mauritius, Botswana, Kenya, as well as, of course, South Africa and Rwanda. Now, we have a sobering challenge, a challenge that has been a severe threat towards sustainable growth. You know, we are closer to the equator, and you know what that means? Premium heat. And certain activities that are being carried out in Africa, no thanks to the burning of fossil fuel, has impacted our climate so badly. Now we are struggling with the impact of climate change. These climate changes have been posing significant threats to Africa's workforce and economy. Now you check it out. Rising temperatures, droughts, and floods, they can devastate agricultural production. They've been doing this a whole lot, even in my own country. There are some times that food will be so scarce. Why? Because of severe flooding and it has damaged the farms of most of our mechanized farmers. And you know what that means? Lesser food production. Of course, these elements can as well as disrupt supply chains and damage infrastructure. Haven't you heard about buildings collapsing? That is it. Flooding and every other impact of climate change, you see it impacting buildings collapsing. However, Africa can also capitalize on the opportunities presented by the transition to a low carbon economy. We can do it. It's in us. We have the resources all around us. If only we are ready to tap from them and let fossil fuels be, at least for now. We've had our fair share. We've had more than enough of fossil fuel and all its dramas across Africa. I really want, in this case, this is a sobering aspect. So I wouldn't want to mention certain countries, but I believe that the citizens of these various countries know themselves and they know what exactly is happening in the countries and how the advent of fossil fuel has caused so much to them, so much environmental degradation as well as bloodshed. Now look at Kenya. Let's go to Kenya and Tanzania. Countries like Kenya and Tanzania, do we know that currently they are investing in renewable energy? Energies as a renewable energies such as wind and solar power, so that they can reduce their reliance on fossil fuels and create new job opportunities in the clean energy sector. So you don't go, maybe you claim you now have a high paid job somewhere in oil industry where you keep refining fossil fuel and becoming ever prone to cancers and other health challenges. So we should tap from what Tanzania and Kenya are doing. It's very possible, renewable energy. We know that sun is the greatest source of energy. Any other thing can be depleted, but the sun can never be depleted. The solar power we derive from the sun can never ever be depleted. So why don't we invest in these forms of energy so that we can reduce the negative impact on our climate? It's no longer news that our solar system, or sorry, our um, yeah, though the environment that we find ourselves in, our ozone layer has been badly depleted. Well, people always say that it's badly depleted, but right now, I believe it is thoroughly damaged. Every blessed day, even when it is raining, we keep seeing cases of instances of high ultraviolet rays flying around, locking around the earth. So there's another way we can combat the uh, many years of burning fossil fuel and its wrong impact on our environment. That is only when we go clean. Embrace renewable energy. Please, let's try our best to embrace renewable energy. There are many ways we can do this. Promoting more of biofuels, biogases, in addition to the wind power and solar power. In this case, more jobs will be created. Yes, there will be more opportunities because all hands must be on deck for us to achieve what we want to achieve out of these natural sources of energy. And people will be working in a clean energy sector. So there will be lesser health impacts. The earth is already sick. And that is why sometimes we're also sick. Many of our sicknesses today are actually environmental factors. The environment is sick. As it stands now, it is safe to say that our climate has already exceeded its band of tolerance. It has reached its threshold. This is why we keep saying all what we are saying today. So we can combat it by going clean. Yes, we can go clean and green so as to help ourselves. This calls for us to keep learning. If you don't learn continuously, how would you be able to provide solutions in your various countries or communities? And how would you also advise the government to invest in something clean enough around? So please, as the job market is evolving rapidly, workers, wherever you are, whether you're an entrepreneur, the employer of labor, or you are actually a laborer yourself, There is need for continuous upskilling or reskilling if you must remain relevant and if your industry must also remain relevant. Lifelong learning is essential for workers to adapt to changing demands and stay competitive. Online platforms, vocational training programs, and apprenticeships can provide workers with the skills they need to succeed in the modern economy. For example, have you ever heard about the African Virtual University? That's AVU. Have you heard about them before? Well, I will say congratulations in advance to you if you are learning of its existence for the first time today, especially if you are a young or aspiring professional looking to create a career path in the field of STEM. This is because the university has been operating since the year 1997 and it provides online courses, mainly online courses and degree programs to students across Africa, thereby promoting access to quality education and lifelong learning. Yes, the African Virtual University. It is an accredited university. Yes, fully accredited. So you have nothing to fear. By the way, this is an unpaid advert. So this is something good, something that's going to help in transforming our workforce is important we're doing. And that's why we have programs like this to inform you, to instruct you, to educate you, so that you can also find your way into this competitive market. So, like I was saying, the African Virtual University is accredited and headquartered in Nairobi, Kenya. Yes, actually, it has always been there in Nairobi, Kenya. But they also have a regional office in Dakar, Senegal. If I'm not mistaken, along the line, they created another regional office somewhere in Ghana. Maybe you have to find that out yourself. Okay? This AVU is a Pan African intergovernmental organization with a mission to increase access to quality higher education and training in Africa through technology. Their accreditation is primarily an African initiative supported by African governments. So you see, they have strong backing and they have good intentions too. So it is also a member of the Association of African Universities. I'm just doling out their credibilities. So you know you're safe now in case you want to give it a try. So what are you waiting for? Go search them out for that, go on Google, anywhere else you can type, any other search engine, and find out their closest virtual campus to you. Get yourself enrolled and get started, especially if you are really ready to carry or take up a career path with them. Regional integration can drive economic growth and job creation as well by increasing trade and investment among African countries. We don't need to go that far anymore. We have it all here. We can get it done right here. The African Continental Free Trade Area is a significant step towards promoting regional integration and creating a single unified market for Africa. That should be our goal. We are lacking in so many things because there isn't a unified market for Africa. Sad to say. And we know, if we search ourselves deep, we know that this is the major problem we have, or let me say a major challenge. A challenge that we can overcome if only we'll take our time, we can be more intentional, okay, about taking similar significant steps, okay, towards promoting regional integrations. So let's work on this. Each region creating a single unified market for Africa. It will help reduce our unnecessary dependency on the Western world for things that they practically come down here to get themselves. Go back to their country, repackage it, and we know the rest. We know exactly how this thing works. All right. So by reducing trade barriers and increasing economic cooperation, African countries can specialize in areas where they have a comparative advantage. African countries can as well as increase their competitiveness and create new job opportunities. This is just like a typical family. The entire 54 countries in Africa ought to, relate like brothers, sisters, cousins. Yeah, because none of us can be more African than the other. It's just like a family, typical family setting. You see some families who are really progressing today, who are so successful. It's because they held each other's hands. They did not leave others behind. They did not start seeing their siblings or cousins or whoever that is related to them as their competitors. They didn't see them as threats. As they are rising, they are also lifting others with them. This is why some families seem to be progressing more than others. Where such cooperation is, wherever it stands, you see growth, progress, and the likes. So Africa can take a borrow a few things. We should work on ourselves. Seriously, we need to. What's the trade barriers for in the first place? Take a cue from what the current president of Namibia, what she said. We read about what happened, the recent thing she did, whereby she had to put a stop to the visa barrier issues that Namibians and other Africans have been facing. In front of the world power countries, which is US, using visa as a barrier for them. But these same countries come into various African countries uninhibited, visa free. They come down here, they talk as much as they can, and they leave to go and better their own countries. Meanwhile, Africa has what it takes to help themselves. So she said that Africans should learn how to tolerate one another. We should stop being unnecessarily hypnotized. We are the ones hypnotizing ourselves. We are just like, what is it with the unnecessary boundaries being set? We really should look into this. We are not in no way are we trying to decide for any government in any part of Africa what to do, but they should give this a thought. If you are going and your brother is going with you, the glory comes to your family. You will stand out, tall and proud when you talk to your peers out there. So if you happen to be the only person doing well in your family, whether you like it or not, you're also a poor man or a poor woman. So any country in Africa that is excelling and others are lagging behind, please check. Check your policies. All should come together. There are better things to do together. Please, let's not underlook regional integration as one of the driving forces for our economic growth, as well as creating more jobs. Okay? We should also be increasing trade and investments. We have a whole lot of investments. Some African countries have as a natural resources gold, some have diamonds, some have um, coal. Whichever thing you have naturally, why don't you use it? Intertrade and help yourselves. We should do this. It's a wake up call for us. Well, as we work on this, we should also remember the role that women and youth have been playing in Africa right from the history of this continent can never be overemphasized enough. Women and youth play a critical role in Africa's workforce development and sustainable growth. Check around in many countries in Africa, even across the world. All right, go to some of their uh, job workplaces. You see more of the youths and women. If you want to take statistics, more of youths and women are there in the workforce. So women in particular are driving innovation and entrepreneurship in various sectors. from the agricultural sector to technology. You find women there. We have organizations like the African Women's Development Fund. We also have the Premier Foundation's Entrepreneurship Program, which are well known for supporting women's empowerment and entrepreneurship across Africa. More organizations and initiatives like this are needed so that we can be recording more progress. Youths are also driving change, like I already mentioned. Everywhere you go, every company or businesses you go to, you see that youths are the major numbers of workers there. So they are also driving change. Many young Africans are starting businesses. They're not just going out to look for jobs. They're also starting businesses on their own, creating jobs and promoting innovation. Check our tech, maybe go with the STEM field. You find a lot of youths creating so much, doing a lot of wonderful things. So by investing in women and youths, Africa can unlock their potential and drive growth and development across its 54 countries. It's a necessity because these are persons who are always intentional. We know that the men are also thriving, they are doing well in leadership, but truth be told, at least the facts are going to speak for themselves. Women often do better in entrepreneurship. As long as the funds are there, the necessary things they need to get operations going, they are known for starting businesses that are sustainable, even the petty businesses. Can you recall when you were younger, some women way back who engaged in petty trades, whom you used to buy things from? Sometimes you were in school. That woman who had been selling snacks in your primary school or maybe your high school, don't be surprised. You go back there, you still see her. Her business has been sustained over the years. And it will surprise you to know that she has been using that same business to raise her children. All her children may be graduates right now through that petty trade. We have them all around, all across Africa. We have these stories. So imagine when you now invest in these women, train them to do better than what they were doing. Let them meet up with the trending situations in businesses. Let them know what is really going on. They should keep upskilling and, of course, reskilling for those who are already skilled. Imagine what they can do. Imagine how much they can achieve. So, please, it's necessary. As we consider so many things, we should not forget that investing in women and youth across Africa is one of the best things that we can do for ourselves. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers, I want to thank you for joining me on this discussion tonight. In the course of talking about how we can transform the Africa's workforce and encourage sustainable growth, we've explored the importance of education, technology, entrepreneurship, diversity, and inclusion driving growth and development. We've also learned from successful African countries, entrepreneurs, and industries. And there, we went to discuss the impact of climate change on our workforce. We discussed about lifelong learning, how important it is. We touched on regional integration and finally, women and youth being encouraged and helped. People should be investing in them so that they can help in shaping Africa's workforce. So as we continue to move forward, it's crucial that we prioritize these areas and work together to create a brighter future for Africa. We have children that are coming up. So when they grow up, they should have something better, a sustainable workforce where they can shine. Okay, they can keep shining like the many diamonds we have scattered around this beautiful continent. So Together, let's continue this conversation in the comment section. Of course, while the live is on, if you have any questions, you can ask. But even after I go off this live, you can continue this conversation in the comment section. So you can leave your thoughts, you can leave your questions, you can leave your contributions, however you want it in the comment section. And we'll continue from here. All right. So please do not forget to like this video, share, drop a comment, and also let us know what you would love us to talk about as time goes by. Indeed, we'll catch up again next time in the next episode of 3,600 Seconds with Industry Leaders. Thank you very much again for joining on today's episode. Have a nice time, have a wonderful evening, a night rest, a good night rest in advance, and goodbye.